Hi everyone! Welcome to the 6th tutorial. Today I am going to show you how to paint a wet on wet pansy flower. So let's do it! To start, we are going to apply a paper texture and this time we are going to place it above our watercolor layer. In the first video of this challenge, we talk about the different places we can put our paper layer. So be sure to check it out if you missed it, okay? In the master collection, many brushes can be used to create a wet on wet effect. We've already used the Watery Soft Edges brush to paint the monstera leaf, so we are going to use the Fluffy Easy Grading brush this time. This brush is pressure sensitive. The harder we press, the more paint we'll get. It also has a fluffy, fuzzy edge, depending on the way we move the pencil. We can decrease the brush size to create a less diffuse edge. See? But the edge will never be as sharp as the edgy brushes, okay? Today's project is super easy. Pick any color you want. I'll choose this one. Now, paint a light circle. Another one here. Now paint two more ovals or circles below. Pick a different but similar color. We want to create a subtle gradation. Apply light pressure, okay? Pick a darker tone and paint the center of the pansy. I like to leave these marks, but if you prefer to blend them more, what we can do is to use the smudge tool. Tap and hold on the smudge icon to use the same brush. We can vary the amount of paint this brush pulls by increasing and decreasing its opacity. We can also increase the size of the brush to blend a larger area, as if we were using a large brush or applying more pressure and dragging more paint with the belly of a real brush, or decrease it to blend small areas. I prefer to set the opacity to about 50% and use a medium-sized brush to smudge. This way I have better control and get a more subtle result. Let's continue painting the center of the flower with a dash of green. By the way, there is also another tool we can use for painting, the eraser. We can use the sidebar to control the amount of paint we lift. If this is too much, we can decrease the brush opacity to make it lift less paint. Much better, right? Let's paint two more petals. Pick another color, purple for me. As we want to paint here, we need to decrease the brush size. Did you know that we can increase and decrease the brush size while we are painting? Yes, we can do it. We don't need to lift the pencil, okay? We can also use the smudge tool to paint with no paint. Just water. See? We will paint the next petal darker because it is behind the rest. Let's increase the brush size a little bit. Each time we lift the pencil, we will reload the brush with paint, so be sure to blend it properly before it dries. This part should be darker too. Let's use the smudge tool again. I think these petals need more layers of paint. They are too light, right? For the second layer, let's use a bigger brush. Not sure if you can appreciate in the video the little spikes on the edge. Well, we can also create a nice wet on wet effect going with the smudge tool around the edge. Let's lift some paint here. Too much. Let's decrease the opacity a bit more. This is better. Tap and hold on the color button to use the previous color. And add a dash of purple at the bottom. Let's decrease the size a little bit. Whoops, too small. Now, let's blend the colors together. Too small again. Let's make this bigger. Okay, this looks a little bit flat, right? That's because there is not enough contrast. Do you remember what tool we used in the previous videos to increase contrast? Yes, a blend mode. There are a few blend modes we can use for this purpose, but I usually use linear burn when I want to increase contrast by darkening the image, and overlay when I want to boost contrast in general. As you see, we are using the same purple color, but it looks much more intense, right? Let's dip the brush into the water and create a smoother transition here. But not too smooth, okay? Remember that you can create watercolor blooms using the brushes included in the splotches set, just as we did in the first tutorial of this challenge. As you see, I've decreased the size of the brush for painting the veins. I am simply dragging some paint from the dark area to the light area. Notice that I am still using the smudge tool. It is a little bit more difficult with the paint tool, because you have to control the pressure to make the stroke lighter as you go. If you don't want to see the veins so clearly, just increase the brush size, decrease its opacity and go over the area applying light pressure. Let's darken this area too. Yeah, I think it looks better. Let's change the color and continue working on the rest of the petals. Notice that we are applying the same purple color here as we are in the purple petals, but it looks like dark crimson, right? Why is that? Well, because this area is orange or yellow in the layer underneath. Don't forget blend modes change the way a layer reacts with the layers underneath it. As I said before, we can paint the veins using the paint tool. So let's do it. Take a look at the opacity I've set for this task. It is about 50%. If it were set to max, the veins will look too noticeable. Keep that in mind, okay? Let's create a new layer for the final touches. I'll use this dark violet. The opacity of my brush is still reduced, so it is easier for me to work from light to dark. As you see, I lift the pencil each time I want to add more paint. I am just working as if they were real watercolors. Increase the brush size. It's time to paint the shadows. To add shadows is my favorite part. It's incredible how a few strokes of a darker color can turn a flat illustration into a 3D one, right? Let's use a brown color to paint the shadows on the yellow oranges petals. If you add too much dark paint, use the smudge tool to blend it or the eraser tool to lift some paint. Let's use here the previous color. Since digital painting never dries, let's add a little more water to the top petal to get a fluffier edge. Remember that the size, opacity and the way we move the pencil are important. We will get a different result if we make a continuous circular movement than if we draw lines or just tap repeatedly on the screen, okay? Well, that's all from me, but I have a little assignment for you. To paint a simple background. I am only going to recommend that you use complementary colors so your flower stands out, and that you combine the fluffy easy gradient and dryish brushes. You already have all the knowledge you need, so you can do this. I can't wait to see what you create. In the next video, we will see what tool we can use to make flowers of different colors in no time. Hope to see you there. Bye!